Today on the GTI, we're fitting a rear sway bar. So I've had this thing lying around for ages. We've got a Whiteline, I think it's 22mm rear sway bar and adjustable end links, and I haven't been able to fit it because mainly of the regulations of the championship that I'm in. Couldn't do those mods, haven't changed it. I've been banking them for like a later day. Now is that later day, but to be honest, I'm a little bit apprehensive in terms of the difference they're actually going to make to the car. Everyone says it transforms the car. I don't know. Let's find out. So let's see how the rear sway bar actually attaches to the car. It's pretty simple. On each side we've got two triple squares that attach to the rear subframe. Then on the lower control arm we have the end link connected by a pretty irregular bolt. Now we can see the two bars side by side. They actually look to be a pretty similar diameter, and they are. The factory Clubsport bar is 21.7mm thick with 3mm hollow tubing. This Whiteline unit is 22mm thick but solid, hence why they look so similar. You can definitely tell the difference when you pick them up though. The Whiteline bar is noticeably heavier. Now something here really did surprise me, and I didn't notice until I actually had the bar out. It's the part number on my factory sway bar. This part number, ending in BA, is actually the stiffer Clubsport S unit, which is still 21.7mm in diameter, but with slightly thicker 3.6mm tubing. The standard Clubsport bar should have AT at the part number. This could have been a variation for the Australian delivered vehicles, and is actually a pretty interesting find. No wonder I've been so impressed with the car's balance so far. So, final thoughts on the sway bar. Let's sum this up. Now, it's been actually quite a while since I installed the sway bar, and I specifically wanted to give myself some time to drive the car and for it to be more than just initial thoughts. I wanted it to actually be a bit of a considered response. The hope was that I would get to hit the track as well, but due to everything that's been happening, racetracks have been closed. They've only just reopened like in the last 2 weeks, and I haven't been able to get down there for other reasons. So I haven't been able to experience the car on the track since the changes. So keep that in mind. So what are my thoughts? Or I guess what is my recommendation? I guess I'll get onto the recommendation. What are my thoughts? It's a quality bit of kit. I think it's not stiff enough. That's probably my first thought. As I showed, it's not much difference in thickness to the Clubsport S sway bar that came fitted to my car. I don't know why. That's just what got delivered. And it wasn't like this car was sort of wallowy or anything in the rear end to begin with. Like I've always said, this car is very well composed from the factory. It's got quite stiff springs, it's dampened quite stiffly, and the factory rear sway bar is already pretty stiff. It's the stiffest sway bar that can be fitted by factory to a Golf. So I think the step from there up to the Whiteline bar, I have a feeling was not a big one. So when I first installed it, I had it installed on the softest setting. I thought, let's try that first. I got in the car and drove it, and straight away, it actually felt worse. be honest, the rear end felt looser, not as tight. So I was like, oh wow, that's not good. So I straight away jumped back under the car, put it to its stiffest setting. There's only two, soft and stiff. Put it to the stiffest setting. I even adjusted the end links to add a bit of preload in there as well. And that's how I've left it since. And it was better. It was better. And look, day-to-day driving, you can't tell. You wouldn't know it's in there. It feels exactly the same. My wife drives the car. She doesn't know it's any different. All good. So look, if you just kind of potter the car around, seriously, don't bother. You won't notice the difference at all. Just commuting, driving about. If you get a little bit spirited, yeah, you can feel a slight difference, and it is a bit slight. It's not the difference that I thought it would be, which is, I think, where my disappointment comes from. I thought there would be a marked difference between the two, and I just haven't experienced that. It's been slight. Caveat, again, on the track, maybe that's going to be different, but I don't know. I've driven the car reasonably hard on the street. I mean, you can't go nuts, and the rear end feels a little bit tighter, but it hasn't transformed the car. And I guess that's I think where my expectations were set up to fail. I see people talking about a rear sway bar as transforming the car. That may be true on some cars. It hasn't transformed this car, and maybe that's because this car was already pretty well sorted from the beginning, from stock. That's, I think, a reasonable explanation. Perhaps a base GTI isn't, and you do really feel that difference. But on this car, the difference was really subtle, I would say. And I would even go so far as to say, on this car, on a Clubsport, I don't know if you'd spend the money, to be honest. I definitely wouldn't have done it in this order if I had known the results were going to be like this. I would have waited till I finished the rest of my chassis modifications and then use sway bars as a way to tune the chassis a little bit, like for slight adjustments. And that's what I'm probably still going to do. This may not be the final sway bar configuration, and it's stopped me from, it's halted my purchase of a front sway bar, definitely. Like I was going to go and put a front sway bar in as well to have them matched. Now I'm not going to. That would be, I think, a step backwards on this car. That's sort of my gut feel based on this one. So I hope that's helped. You know, I don't want to say it's a waste of money, because I don't think it is. I think it definitely has its place, and on a base GTI, I suspect it's going to make the difference that people claim it is. On this car, it doesn't. If you are going to do other suspension mods, hey, maybe rethink the order, because there is a lot of choice out there in sway bar. So there's thicker units you can go for, which if I'd known this one was going to be so subtle, I would have gone for, to at least give me some adjustment, because on this car I find the soft one is wasted. There's just no point in even having it. It feels softer than the factory bar. So there you go, there are my thoughts on the Whiteline 22mm adjustable sway bar as fitted to the GTI Clubsport. I hope you enjoyed this video. like and subscribe and all that for more content, which is hopefully on the way. As always, have fun in your cars and